So, Mr. President, let's deviate a little bit before we come back to home front resistance. Talking about opinion leaders, the diaspora, the home front, and the government in exile. When you look at the movement, the way it has been going, the evolution from 2018 when you took over office, I think sometime around March, into today, we are talking about 2025, few days away from Cameroon's selection. Would you say, agree with those who are uh, conveying the narrative? Diaspora, probably for some reason, has not been a blessing to people at the home front. We've seen Chiruma trying to tell the world, or Cameroon is peddling the narrative, even within the United States, that the diaspora is orchestrating mayhem at the home front. And for some reason, we've had some individuals have been silenced. What would be your assessment of the diaspora vis-a-vis the home front?
That is just repugnant for anybody to say something like that. That the diaspora is orchestrating the mayhem in Cameroon. No. When the resistance started, the demand and the call for change with the consortium, the diaspora was not there. When the La République du Cameroon, when the people on the ground came out in their number, millions, and demanded for a change or a return to federation or even separation, because all those were all together in the same movement. On the 22nd of September 2017, the diaspora was not there. We were all observing the images from the ground. We were all just offering our own support in terms of opinion to what was happening. We're neither the actors nor the leaders of what was happening. When they decided to proscribe every activity on the ground as the only instrument dictatorship recognized, the use of force, when they decided to use brute force to quell dissent and imprison people and even disappeared many that have died today, diaspora was not there. Is that called mayhem? That's mayhem. And then they forced those same leaders to the diaspora by the use of force. Many found themselves in the diaspora. Some are still in the diaspora today because of the mayhem that they caused on the ground. They were forced on exile. And they came on to, while in exile, they found a way to express themselves. They were able to say these things without the fear of being targeted and eliminated by the court. And so we joined forces with those of us supporting what was happening on the ground to continue to lend our support to what was going on. So this revolution is not owned by the diaspora. It is owned by the home front. The only thing we do is to give a sense of direction to what is happening. We are not responsible for the killings. We did not shoot the first shot. Who shot the first shot? That's how to define self-defense. If you don't identify who shot the first shot, who came after the order first, then you will not identify who is self-defending. So we said those people on the ground were doing self-defense, which is authorized by any law, any reasonable law in the world, even as a civil right. Everyone, you have a right to life, and therefore defend it. So we are defending ourselves And for somebody to come and say, we are the ones responsible for the mayhem, that is gibberish. It's total nonsense. If you create a state of war, then you have created a new ecosystem where there are going to be good actors and bad actors. So you want me to be responsible for the bad actors when you created the system? You put war, you created war and created this environment that these things normally happen. There are going to be good actors and bad actors. And La République du Cameroon, as crooked as they are, anyone who is an Ambazonian, who now flourishes as a criminal with a gun, we did not create. But anyone who is from the La République side, who is working for the oppressor, who is involved in organized criminality, was created by the occupation. They created them. They called them vigilante. What kind of nonsense is that? What do you mean by vigilante? Vigilante what? And what identifies the vigilante and separate them from unknown gunmen? If I show you a vigilante now with a gun, what is the difference between the vigilante and the unknown gunmen that kill people? They created this mess because they want to use violence to kill violence. They want to use criminal violence to destroy legitimate violence, which is self-defense. So they created this. And for anybody to say we create the mayhem, no, we did not create the situation that put us in a position to defend ourselves. So we are not responsible for that situation. We have to defend ourselves, and it's the right thing to do. There is no government in this world that will condemn us for defending ourselves. No one. And we must make sure that the truth is known. Because sometimes you can be crucified because the people did not know the truth. Sometimes you can be demonized because the people did not know the truth. Our duty to sanitize this struggle is to make sure that the truth is not buried. It's not buried by liars and erstwhile prophets of the demonic system in Yaoundé. I wonder. I'm surprised to hear that Chiroma is now a repented, born again politician, a Democrat, who can tell us who is committing mayhem and who is not committing mayhem. Where was he in 1982? Where was he when Biya stole the elections from Frundi, and he decided to save that government for all these years? Where were they with their political philosophy of freedom and democracy and rule of law? Where were they at that time against mayhem and all these things? You know, these are hangers on that are benefiting from members of the same cult that are benefiting from the same worship. Whatever you do, you must serve the master in one way or the other, directly or indirectly, for you to belong. Otherwise, he has no chance. So whatever he's doing right now, even the so-called opposition, they are there to help give a sense of legitimacy to the flawed process that is being put in place for this election. Because if imagine all the opposition refuse to partake in this charade, then what happens? When they refuse to take part in this charade, then it will be glaring to all that this is a farce. But when they participate in the process, it gives the semblance of a competition. Because Bias, when he went to France the other time, he said, you don't stay in power because you want, but you stay in power because you can. So that's what. So because you can, it means that there is a competition and you win. Therefore, who can say you are not president? So there must be a competition. So all these are those pawns that Biya puts in place to give a semblance of some competition and say, well, finally he won. He won. Democracy means the rule of the majority. So he won. So all these Chiroma, all these people who are entering into a rigged game with the results already published, prepared, and ready for announcement before time, is to give the false help, propagate the false impression that there is some competition, and when Bia wins, let's just know that he's a Democrat. That's what they're doing.
I cannot agree any less with you after listening to Joshua saying yesterday. I think yesterday or two. When you listen to him, you see that he is just a fool.